So the world champion Springboks get their win over Ireland 27-20 at home. The crowd were desperate for them to do it. They cheered them home. It was a real party atmosphere. But goodness me, it was a tight game. Ireland, you wouldn't say they played their best, but they stuck in there and they had some chances towards the end. Although I would say that South Africa deserved that win. I mean, in the opening phases, it was a very simple try in the end. They went from side to side. Just a simple 3 forwards in the middle of the pitch that they bypassed. Not particularly great, but the final pass from Kriel to Arenza was really good. There's the try, 7-0, but it seemed far too easy. And you wondered, wow, would South Africa open up? But it's actually Ireland next who have a chance when Kwagga Smith drops his first catch cold. He drops his next catch cold as well. Ireland seemed to be close to the line, but Peter O'Mahony passes the ball into McCarthy's head to spoil a potential try. So O'Mahony starts the fight anyway, just to make himself feel a bit better. The first shove of the game in the scrum was from the Irish, actually. They started off scrummaging very well, and it went downhill towards the end of the game, that is for sure. But Kolbe, an amazing clearance right on his touchline, kicks the ball 60 metres. An amazing start from Kolbe and Arenza. Those two wingers, absolutely top draw, and they showed it in this game. Kwagga Smith's second drop actually results in a penalty, which Crowley kicks. And it's quite funny, the crowd cheers Smith when he catches his third one. South Africa punching up hard in midfield, then working to the width, grubbering in behind, making the fullback Osborne work. And Jamie Osborne, obviously very new to fullback, but he does pretty well. And South Africa can't break fully through. The returning captain, Sia Khaleesi, I said he'd be out to prove a point, and goodness me, he was, charging into Robbie Henshaw, who for some reason decides to tackle him bolt upright and gets knocked into next week. Maybe he'll decide to go lower next time. Yeah, some huge carries from the likes of Khaleesi. On 15 minutes, smart play from Faf de Klerk, who milked a few good penalties. This one from Joe McCarthy to get some soft points, 10-3. Now, South Africa may be working the ball from side to side, but the Irish are turning the ball over fairly well, which they did all game, but also making a stack of errors. Crowley clearing the ball straight into touch, gifts South Africa a 15-metre line out, and Porter plays the ball off his feet, so another easy 3 points. 13-3. On half an hour, Ireland finally go through some decent attacking phases, but they are struggling to make that gain line with those big tackles. But Mbonambi is pinged, giving Ireland surely an easy 3-pointer, but a bad miss from Crowley, dragging it wide. Even though Ireland are struggling to make the gain line, South Africa are coughing up some penalties. They get close to the line, they go route one, but are pushed back by dominant South African hits. Then a moment of genius, Sheehan flicks behind to a looping low, who in turn flicks in to Osborne before going into touch. Crucial try against that fierce South African defence, 13-8, gives them a chance at half-time. The South African maul doesn't really get going before half-time as Ireland defend it well, as they did all game actually. And just before half-time, Porter with another dozy penalty, should be another 3 points, but pushed wide by Pollard. Some poor missed kicks in that half for sure in the game in total. Second half, South Africa start very nicely. We see Willie Leroux slotting in out a bit wider, throwing those passes, getting the ball from side to side. Aki concedes the penalty. South African maul is repelled once again. They thump away at the line, but Ireland stop them dead, and de Klerk in panic lobs the ball to Tyg Burns. So big defence there from Ireland. Then a huge step and a carry from Sia Khaleesi, again looking really good in the loose. Gets another penalty and an even worse miss. Terrible strike from Pollard. Keeps the score at 13-8. Goodness me, this game is so messy at this point. And oh my God, South Africa change all 6 forwards all at once. Talk about getting fresh legs on. Positive for Ireland though, at this point the scrum is remaining solid and they win a penalty with the new front row, but they fumble the ball and there's turnovers from both sides. Van der Fleer with a really good turnover. The messy game continues with Snyman missing an easy line-out catch. Marks with a good turnover. It's just going from side to side. Then on 56 minutes, a huge moment. Touch of class from Willie Leroux with a perfect flat kick pass to the flying Kolbe. They get into multi-phase attack. Brilliant counter ruck, but does Kelleher ruck the ball back with his leg when he's off his feet? Yes, he does, but the ball had squirted out to Lowe, who scored. The TMO checked that, and indeed, he was off his feet. So there's a moment there, and indeed, that was a penalty. Pollard thinks he can get it, but he can't with another terrible strike. Really poor kicking from Pollard. South Africa have the bulk of the attacking possession, but Ireland are turning this ball over. A good 50-22 from Casey, who unfortunately just after that gets badly concussed. I hope he's okay. His head bouncing off the hard pitch from a big tackle from Snyman. But then another breakthrough for South Africa, a penalty kick to touch. Lowe decides to try and keep it in, but instead flicks it infield, and Kolbe is so fast that he latches onto it, kicks ahead and scores. They might have been saved though if Lowe's foot was in touch first, which it probably was, but the ref says on-field try, so they can't see enough to overrule it. Tough, but probably technically correct. So there's a try, 20 points to 8. You think maybe that is the match-winning moment, but there's more to come. A huge phase of play on 70 minutes, a series of penalties from South Africa gives Ireland lots of line-out chances. Big carries for Mackie. Eventually they go 5 metres out from a free kick. A pure muscle test here. Nothing fancy. Really messy. But more penalties. Yellow Arenza. More muscle. Doris held up. So that's a huge moment because, of course, that's a goal line dropout and you think the chance is gone. But no. From the dropout, it's a clean break. The first one for ages from Ireland. It's Bealham inside to Kelleher. 2-on-1 to Murray. What a great try. Just when you think the chance has gone. So 2015 and it is still on. But goodness me, James Lowe is having a shocker with the kicks. Again, trying to field a kick, flicks off his hands and gifts South Africa a 5 metre scrum because it goes dead. And Ireland did not need that. And just when they needed it, the scrum turned up, the volume to 11, and Ireland fly back like they're on skates. Penalty try, so destructive, yellow card to Kelleher. So that's the game to South Africa, but there's still time for one more try. Ryan Baird going on a solo mission, winning the restart himself, looping on Low and getting the offload to score. Amazing stuff. So 27-20, South Africa get it done. For most of that game, it was super messy. Just a measure of will, really, but a great fight. I think Ireland can hold their heads up high, but they were the second best team for sure. South Africa need to tidy up in certain areas, but plenty of heart there, plenty of big carries, big tackles, Arenza, Kolbe, quality wingers. Anyway, let me know what you thought of that game, all the comments below, and I'll catch you next time.